sequence do you know?
I was watching this yesterday.
Good.
It's morphin' time.
Exactly. And that is my favorite. Now you answer, now you've seen them, we don't have to morph.
Yeah, it's a casual one. I was watching it, I was laughing my head off thinking, that is the best one. You're not having to go, hooja, hooja,
Exactly, that's the point.
That's the Scottish Power Ranger, by the way.
That was good.
But how's Comic-Con been? Obviously, you were here yesterday, you pretty much got over today. What's it been like meeting all the fans?
Always wonderful to meet them. We love our fans.
It's great to come to different places of the world and see the different love. When I say different, everyone has a different passion for it, and that's what I love. I see, go to the United States and Argentina and the UK, everyone has such a, it's all passion, but a different way of doing it, and I love seeing you guys. I talk fast, and that's why they're like, huh? And I'm like thinking I need to slow it down because I'm the one with the accent. I'm like, listen to your accent. I'm the one with the accent, so I have to talk a little slower. Huh?
My accent's the worst. It's a Geordie accent.
Oh, that's good.
Shall I teach them some Geordie? Yeah. So a Geordie accent, so the most famous phrase, which, there we go. Why I man?
Why I man?
Why I
Go see if I go. Why I man?
Why man?
Why I man?
Which means yes.
Oh.
Check this out.
We just say yes.
This is LA. What's up, man? That means what's up? What's up, man?
That's cool. That's like, what's up, man? And then you go, why I man? Like I'm getting down the tune. I'm the baby, mate.
What's up, man?
What was that?
It's good.
What did you just say?
I says, yes, I'm going down to the town to have a drink with my friends.
Oh wow. Say it again.
Why man? I'm going down to have a drink with my mate.
Okay.
Who's here from Israel? Are my Israel fans? Okay. Yes, I had a commercial. I'll tell you guys because I know the whole commercial. I had a commercial one time. I went to Israel, and they're like, "Hey, Jason, we have a commercial." I got it, no problem. They're like, "We're filming," trying to tell me. I'm like, "Guys, I've done 1,000. I got it." And they're like, "Oh, are you ready to film?" I said, "Yeah, you need your lines." I'm like, "Oh, okay, it's Tommy." They said, "No, in Hebrew." And I said, "Hebrew? Why didn't you tell me?" Like, we're trying to tell you the whole time, and you kept saying no. So I had to say that. So I would double check it with you guys. And I used to say, Ani, Tommy, Haneja Haraban, Tim Sifim Roots, I got a dim, Roots Shesh Roots, I got a dim. Right? There you go.
So what did you just say?
I said, I believe Tommy the White Ranger, I'm Jason and Frank Tommy the White Ranger, and you're watching channel something. But I had to write it on cue cards. So I had to write A, Ni, Ha, Ranger Haraban, Ani, Tommy, Haneja Haraban, attempt. Say roots, whatever. Oh God, I remember it. Yes. Yeah, they're like, we're trying to tell you. I said, why didn't you tell me, man? You guys didn't tell me, sir. We've been trying to talk to you for the last hour. Yeah. No, don't worry, I got it. Oh, sweetheart, I got it. Hebrew.
I've always wondered, because sometimes when it comes to scripts and memory, I'm terrible at remembering stuff, but do you have a process when remembering lines and what you've got to do, or is it just, it's there, you read it, it's in your mind, you know what you do, because obviously you've got to think about emotions, facial expressions, body language, and you've got to remember to say the lines. What is that like as actors trying to do that? Especially as well as the martial arts as well.
Good question, I'll answer that, but you guys go for a second.
I have a tendency to take a screenshot of the page. So sometimes I remember where the line is on the page, and so it just replays in my mind. And other times there's certain gestures that I do for certain lines, and it helps me to remember that as well. So I have different processes. But when I'm going in for an audition, I try to memorize all of my lines, so I go over it and over it and over it for hours, and I have to read it with somebody else. But I normally photograph it in my mind. Yeah.
Me too. I think I have a photographic memory, so I could take a picture of it. And then if you're, depending on the character, I think you connect to the character and you start to think like the character, and it becomes easier.
An interesting question because I've never been asked that. So because of this process in martial arts, I've created 7 different ways of remembering a kata in lots of different ways, but one's called speed reading, where like I speed read the moves, speed read without moving, and then I speed read it. So in my head, sometimes reading, I'm like, oh, so I speed read it. No emotion, speed read it. So when you're doing a kata in the school, now I'm like, okay, you know the moves? Now I add ki eyes. And for my brain, I have to speed read, and then speed read. And anytime I mess up, I go back to the beginning. Speed read. It's kind of like a ribbon, where if the ribbon in martial arts is not pulled, or you speed read martial arts and you go like this, start over again. Start over again. And so I put that from acting into martial arts, and that has helped so many people get their kata down. Speed read, no emotions, figure it out. Get the moves down and then put the icing on the cake. That's why I can move and create something right now and not think of what that's no combo, I just can do it. So, and I wish I can act, you know? Yeah, so I forgot about that.
Gotta love hecklers. He's much better than your acting though, but you know. Well, yeah. Now, obviously, there will be some weird monster names. Did you ever struggle trying to say certain names or certain phrases? Because obviously, in sci-fi shows like Power Rangers and everything like that, they come up with some really weird, like, I must plug in the crystal into the console to do the other, and battle blah, blah, blah. Was there any sort of lines where you just could never get it?
Any lines or?
Any lines or names that you just could never get it right?
No.
I said right a lot, so that wasn't difficult. Right!
Sometimes when we were doing ADR, and we had in their Megazord, and sometimes we had to say, Super Power, Dino Zord, Thunder Sword, Megazord, Shogun. Yeah, a lot of, they just kept adding on animals and names.
More Zords appear and combine together. Let's have Triceratops, Dragon, Pigeon Bots.
When you're in your head, I always say in your head you're dead, because I think about it. In Dino Thunder, there's a museum, and I couldn't say museum. I don't know. I kept saying it, thinking that they'll just move on. Museum. I'm like, cut. I'm like, oh God, move on. One more time, Jason. Museum. Yeah, I know, dude. I know. Museum. And I was like, oh, so I had to repeat. That one always stuck in my head, because then I started thinking about it. And when you think about it, museum. So museum. And then in the Forever Red episode, Sea of Tranquility, I said that in the episode, and I'm meeting all the new Red Ranger guys. I don't know most of them, different seasons. And it's weird to have a bunch of leaders in the room, and now you lead. It's weird. So I'm leading leaders. And so they were all sitting there, and I said, Sea of Tranquility. And all the group, Fonz started laughing, everyone laughing, and I don't know. And I'm like, And then finally I said, can we lose those people? Okay, guys, can you step out? And then finally, Sea of Tranquility. And Fonz says, you don't know what was going on over there. And we were saying, I think I saw a putty cat. Sea of Tranquility. I think I see a putty cat. And they're laughing. I'm like, so yeah. So those two, Museum, Sea of Tranquility, I'll always remember. And I'll probably still miss it.
Say them in your sleep.
Sea of Tranquility.
When we had to do ADR, do you guys know what ADR is? It's when you're voicing, so we had stunt guys that had our suits on, and so when we were inside of the studio, we would have to say our voice with the karate and all of that stuff. I got to use my name all the time. It was Nakia! 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 If you listen back, you'll hear me say my name with all of the chops.
I don't think it works with Jason! Catherine! Just doesn't have the same.
No.
For the Kias?
Nakia, I was saying my name.
Yeah. I was in Disney. I remember filming Dino Thunder, and I got a memo. No lie. Doug Sloan and Knapp said that I can't say the bad word S-H-I-T, because when I ki-I-T, it sounds like I'm saying T. So I was like, I'm not saying a bad word. So every time I ki-I could say a lot of bad words, but I never did. I was already remembering T. I stay away from T. That's not what I was saying. So I had to change it up. Yeah, I never forgot I got a little thing from Disney. Hey, can you tell them not to say a bad word? I'm like, what? I should have said, Nakia! 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 Nakia!
Didn't that sound good?
I'll do it next time, next movie.
It wouldn't have been that surprising if you were saying bad words.
What we need to do is we need to cut that, and then anytime you message someone on the phone, it goes, Nakia! Oh, it's Nakia. That worked really well. Now, talking about ADR, it's very different in performance because no one can see your actions, your emotions. Did you find it tough because you're in that little booth by yourself, little microphone in front of you, and you've got to convey these emotions when the suit's like if someone's hurt, you're like, oh no, like, Was it tougher doing the ADR than maybe it was acting on set?
Do you guys know ADR? Audio, isn't it audio dialogue
The replacement.
dialogue replacement?
Yeah.
Isn't it? Audio dialogue replacement. Digital?
I think
thought it
it's
was audio.
digital.
I thought it was audio because for your audio, but anyway, you go in a little booth. Yeah. So did you find it difficult in the booth? I mean, we did it all the time.
We did it so much.
Yeah.
I mean, we would finish filming and then have to go and do ADR for a couple of hours after we'd finished filming. So we got really used to just looping and looping and looping. And we had Scott, our director, was so good and Tony Oliver. Yeah, they were really good at directing us. So it wasn't hard. I mean, it became such a ritual for us. So
When I first started, though, I was nervous because I was like, what is ADR? What
it goes
is that?
beep, 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 and then you have to stop.
Yeah. So it was nerve-wracking for me when I first started, and then once I got used to it, and like they were saying, Scott Page is the one that worked with me most, and then he also had another assistant. I can't remember what his name was, but he would also create things for us to say, but it was mainly Nakia.
Did you ever have to do the same actions so that way, you know, if like someone's like about to punch someone, you have to do it yourself, so the sound of you doing the action matched. So if you stood in the booth go, yeah, who, that.
Yeah.
Did you ever punch a microphone?
And falling to yeah, all that.
I actually fought in the suit. It's a Japanese footage. I actually fought in the suit when I was fighting Austin in the Dark Dimension. I was actually me in the helmet and the boots fighting in the Dark Dimension. And even though we did the key eyes, we had to match their body movement. The problem is we had stunt doubles, even on Megaforce, that were like, you know, the helmets would go on, so they would tell them, Koichi, chin up, and inside the helmet you're like this, but the helmet's straight. And also the way they move. When I first started the show, when I was the Green Ranger in the Dark Dimension, I would fight, but there's times where you have to say something, but you gotta really exaggerate, like theater. So they taught when you walk, it's like, and then if you say something like, over there, but nothing, it would look like this. So when you do the ADR, over there, it doesn't match. So you have to be like, over there, match your body. And so we had to match those body movements, like some that were like, huh, and then we had to go, ah. That's what she was saying, you gotta match their over-animated body. So we had American stunt doubles that just did not match. They'd walk like this, head down. Koichi said, walk like a superhero. They would have to train them to hit a mark and do that. You would think nothing goes into that. Like, what do I train? It was a training process for someone to hit a mark with a helmet on. It really is. So that's what I always remember when I was like, oh wow, that's like really like, but it actually looked good once the key eyes were in there.
And we had guys as our stunts.
Yeah.
And it was really funny because they were more feminine than we were. I mean, the way that they were acting, yes, they would. I don't stand like that, but we gonna fight?
Nakia!
That is true. I never thought about that till now.
They
Oh.
patted them,
Yeah.
gave them little boobies and little butts.
They were little Japanese men.
Take the helmet off and then roll the suit down
And smoke.
the smoky.
That must have
It is
been
true.
amazing on a CV. It's like, what's your job? I was Yellow Ranger with padding.
Yeah, it was true.
Awkward.
They just take helmets, monster suits off, hanging off, and just, you know, monster suit, like Narvi says it the best. Roar! And then they unzip me, and then half the body falls, and they're behind them with a cigarette, and Narvi, they're walking around, and it's like... smoking a cigarette, yeah, and then we weren't allowed to do that no more. We could never take our helmets off at all.
Because kids would
They would
visit
hide
the
them,
set.
yeah, because kids would visit set. They're like, you can't, the stunt doubles can't take their helmets off. They shatter kids.
What's wrong with Tommy? What's wrong with Tommy? He's smoking.
Yeah.
And why is the
Wasn't
Yellow
me.
Ranger a man?
Yes. Yes.
So obviously one of the questions you get asked the most, but I'm going to ask it anyway because everyone always likes to know, what are some of your favourite suits from the Power Rangers across the generations? Is there any particular one that's always stood out to you?
I really liked his White Ranger suit. I love the White Ranger. That's probably my favorite of all of the suits. But for me personally, for my suits, I think Zeo. I liked the intricacy of the Zeo costume.
I like the black and gold Ranger, and I like the white. And I also like the Zeo, just the intricacy. It reminds me of Egyptian. Those were my favorite.
From the season from Dino Thunder, I really like Jeff's White Ranger too, though. I don't know why, but I love Jeff's White Ranger. I think because Trent was supposed to be like the Tommy of the group, to show up, and just like the Black Ranger showed up for a certain amount of episodes, just like Tommy did. But I told Jeff, even though Jeff did my voice, Jeff, in the season with the reunion thing, and he's like, bro, they didn't even ask me. He's like, I did your voice. And I was like, you did? Yeah, they're just like, he was in ADR, and they're like, can you do JDF's voice? Go back, it doesn't sound like me. But anyway, I enjoyed the White Dino Thunder, but I also liked the green when I first saw it. I really did. I saw it in my room. I took so many behind the scene pictures, and I just developed some stuff from Turbo that Narvi gave me on the 8mm stuff from the movie. I took so much stuff. It was like vlogging back in the day. So I took so many pictures, and so I was kind of a little nervous if I was going to speak, because the voice, the mouth did not move. So I was like, man, I wonder if I have lines in this, because it was just. So I thought maybe I was just going to walk around and maybe do karate and not say anything. I really did. They're like, no, you got lines. I'm like, okay, how? How does my mouth move? Literally, I hear that now, and I thought that when I was 18 too. Yeah, it was crazy.
I do have one question that has plagued me for years and years and years. Obviously, when the Power Ranger suits are battling, they get battle damage, they get dirty and everything like that. Did Zordon have a laundry room? Because every single episode, they were clean, they were spotless, there's no scratches on the visor. What do you think actually happened in the
The
background?
morphing grid, it just cleans them.
Oh.
That's my philosophy.
It always
must have
bothered me,
smelled
like,
really bad.
like 2 fights later, pristine conditions, like there's a suit of damaged Power Ranger suits just in the room somewhere. There's another one, for God's sake, Tommy, look after your suit.
Well, the problem with Tommy doing laundry is you have to remember, when I was a Red Zeo, a Red Turbo, I accidentally washed the white with the red, and then it turned pink. So I was like, oh no, I don't know what to do with the battle, because Tommy messed up the laundry. Have you ever washed anything that's white and red together? It turns pink. So I couldn't battle that day. I did, it was on the weekends though.
It's just always bugged me. Now that's always a question that's bugged me. Why don't I come out, and if there's been any questions you would like to ask? Any questions, hands up? Right, I'll come straight to you guys.
La mama. La
How
mama.
are you?
Good.
Alright. Do you remember the metallic armor? Do you remember the metallic armor? What do you think about it? Did you like the metallic armor? He doesn't remember.
But before we became kids, right?
I loved the way we shot so out of sequence and
You have
everything.
glitters on your suits.
The glitter suits,
The
yeah.
metallic
Yeah.
armor, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the problem with that is I was decorating some stuff at Little Sassy somewhere. I took Jenna and it got all over me. She had makeup and it was glitter, and it was like, oh, there's glitter on the makeup. No, when I went to Israel, I asked you guys. I planted Tu B'Swa, yeah? Tu B'Swa. I went to go do, I toured the movie over there for the White Ranger. I did Israel, I did Germany, I did Paris. Zordon? Is that you? And then I did Paris and I did Israel. I had that whole tour. And all the other guys went to New York. I remember them like, what? Where are you sending me? They're like, you're going to New York. Jason, you're going to Germany, Israel, Paris. So I did this tour. I was there, yeah, for 2 days over there, and I did the Tubi SWAT thing. And I remember planting it, and they just picked me up, like all the armed securities. And I remember my feet rolling. They're like, go, move, move. It wasn't dangerous over there, but I believe I picked you up as a kid. I picked him up as a child, little baby. I don't know how old you are. You were little.
Just
I
said
picked you
3
up.
years old.
I picked you up and said, hey, how's it going? Didn't I say, whose kid is this? Or here you go, this kid is it. Here you go, bud, here's your parents. I was just as crazy back then. I'm gonna try that again and be like, I'm gonna pick you up later. Yeah, you will pick me up, carry me.
I was half tempted to say let's make that happen, but health and safety be like, no. Okay, next question.
My question is for Catherine and Nakia. Sorry, Jason. My question is about the order. What did you get a call about it? Did you realise that you were going to be working with some fellow Power Rangers, or was it like, why don't you come here and do a few scenes and we'll see what happens?
Well, it's a long, convoluted answer to that question, but Karen and David Fielding, who played Zordon, Karen, who played Aisha, had written a script, and she wanted to give the fans something that gave them, how would you describe it? Like kind of bringing all the Power Rangers together, but not in a Power Rangers movie, and kind of, yeah, like an Expendables kind of thing, a Civil War, like trying to appeal more to the older fans. Now you guys have grown up, and she wrote a really amazing script, and unfortunately a week before we were about to shoot, the production got shut down by the union because there was some paperwork and some issues going on. And ever since then, she has been doing everything she can to try and get it back off the ground. I don't have anything else to tell you other than that, but we really want to make it. It's a really good script, so I hope that she can get it done. So.
But I think you asked how did she present it or something like that, as far as, so it was like power. What were the two things that we used? We used Expendables meets
Civil War.
Yeah.
Wasn't it like a battle, like a Twilight-ish, battle-ish?
Like
Well,
a
it was,
battle of good and evil.
yeah, it was a battle of good and evil, and you didn't know which Ranger was good and what.
I thought of Twilight when I said Twilight and Expendables. For some reason, two teams. You guys look like battling the teams. And
Yeah. When we filmed the trailer, I felt like it was so amazing. It was amazing 3 days with cast other Power Rangers that we have never filmed with before. Like we had Time Force and we had In Space and we had, so for all of us to be there together, it just felt like it was Disneyland, and we were just supporting each other and learning our fights the same day. It was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. So God willing, it'll get picked up off the ground and we'll be moving with it. Great question. Thank you.
Right at the front here, White Ranger.
What's your happiest memory of the show?
Happiest moment?
Yeah.
Gosh, I think working with my brother was good. My brother was a tough guy, really tough, and he thought my job was really easy. Oh, I can act. He was a tough guy. And I remember, like, there's a mark where he hit his mark, and he'd be like, tough, and then he'd be like, I'm your brother? And they cut. What's wrong with you, man? Just be yourself. Yeah, I know, bro. It's just super hard. Take two. I'm your brother? And, right? And I was like, he's like, this ain't easy, sweating. I said, it ain't easy. Because we've done it so much. Like, we talk about being nervous. After a while, we're just like family. It's like, say your lines, deliver your stuff. But it was funny. I'll always remember that. So that was my happiest moment to say, it's not that easy, is it? And then, of course, just working with them and stuff. And then, a lot of good memories, man.
That's a tough question because we were filming so much and we were together so much, so it's like we actually have great memories now. Like doing conventions, we reminisce a lot and have a lot of nostalgia now because we have time to think back on it. But when we're in the moment, I feel like it was all just happening so fast, So it's really fun doing conventions because we get to reconnect with each other and you guys share your memories with us, and that to me is the happiest memory.
I would say my happiest moment was when I was called and I booked the job. Because I was in school studying, I was at UCLA studying to become an actress and to be blessed with the work before I graduated. I just remember being like, oh my gosh! And then I got on set, and I remember I was standing in the command center, and there were 50 million people around, and then this one right here was like challenging me, and I had just met his big head. So I remember standing in the command center, and I was just thanking God for this opportunity. Seriously, I was just like, oh my gosh. I wasn't saying it out loud because I didn't want people to think I was crazy. But I remember standing there, and I remember looking around and seeing all of the lights and just thanking God for this opportunity to be able to work before I even graduated. So those are really, really fond memories for me. And even just going into my dressing room and seeing my name. I remember sitting on the couch. I was like, that's my name. Oh my gosh. It was, yeah. There you go.
I signed David's couch. Yost, I went and said, we used to have our own rooms, and that's a real nice room. Cool. And I remember him looking like, what? I signed it in a red marker. Jason Dave Frank taught me, he was kind of like, huh? I have a picture of it that I took. I was like, kicking back, said, don't worry, Dave, I signed your couch. I remember that though. But these guys had it harder than we had it. Because I told you, my audition process wasn't really a lot of people there. And then after they started finding more people, thousands of people were like, oh my God, Power Rangers, it was a known thing. So the competition was hard. I picked up news clipping the other day of watching how many people, so they were very selective and thousands of people. So that's got to be a good feeling to know that you went through that much competition and you still came out ahead. You know, because honestly, my audition was like 6 people, 7, literally. I don't know what they did before. I don't know if I was on a second call back or I skipped it, but there's a lot of people that didn't believe in us, so you guys went through like, and I remember when you came down from Australia to be her character too, that was pretty cool.
Yeah, I didn't even know what Power Rangers was.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Thanks. She was excited and she was like, what is this stupid show?
All I knew was it was an American kids show. I had no idea, and it's probably a good thing I didn't know I was replacing anybody or anything like that. I didn't know I was replacing Amy until I was already on the show. I thought I was just an addition to the cast.
She came down and really fell in love with me, and then they're like, wow, and then they're like, we should write that in the script. And I was like, well,
I mean, I was madly in love.
And she went, wow, and I was like, what is going on? And they're like, you know what, it does not make sense. Let's put it in the script.
That's so true. Yeah, they come up with the random stories.
They're really good.
But you said that Power Rangers hadn't played in Australia.
No, it hadn't aired in Australia yet. So I think once I was cast, it had just started airing. So I watched an episode, so I knew what they looked like and all their characters and everything. So I didn't make a fool of myself when I met you guys.
I went like this when I met her.
His hair was longer than mine.
I wish we had an iPhone for slow motion, because you know how good the slow motion look? I would have had so many videos like. And turbo though, when my hair's super curly,
Yes.
I just let it go.
I liked your hair like that.
Let it go. My hair's curly, guys, not straight. I used to get in the makeup chair every day before all the other people and straighten my hair. I was the first one called in. Turbo, I was like, forget it. I'm just gonna like let it go, and it was naturally like that. It was just, so I just let it go, and I was like looking at this. I was like, who's this? An ET character? ET phone home. And there it go. I just wanted to touch his finger. So, you know the story about with the water bottle and the gum? We were taking the water bottle, and the girl said, let me have your gum.
Oh,
Like,
yeah, in Tennessee.
I was
That is
telling the
so
stranger
weird.
kids that today, and that is the truth. Some girl wanted a water bottle, wanted my gum. It was weird. Anyway.
Yeah, she literally, he was chewing gum, and he said, do you want it? And she put it in her mouth. She took this
I forgot
gum
about that part.
out of his mouth.
Hey, listen, guys, Big Red gum lasts forever. You should try it. ABC, already been chewing gum?
Well, to see Karen is sharing. So, next question.
I hope you're well. So I've got a question for the three of you. Is there a particular,
Can't hear you, sweetie.
Yeah. Is there a particular season you guys weren't on you would love to be a part of?
Did you say, is there a particular season that we liked being a part of?
Yeah. Is there a particular season you would have loved to be a part
Oh,
of?
love to be a part of. Yeah,
I think Time Force. Yeah.
Yeah, Font's season was good. They had really good stuff, good acting, good story. I mean, I literally was on the way to ABC. I missed a flight to Mississippi, and I could not get a flight. I'm like, okay, fine, I don't know what to do. From Houston, let's just drive. We'll get there at like 4 or 5 in the morning. Like, I did not want to cancel the show. And Font's like, okay. So he, on the way there, he's like, I said, show me your favorite episode. He's like, huh? I'm like, your favorite episode you did. So he showed me one. It was part 1. I said, oh, okay, Font. I know what you're doing. You want me to watch part 2? He's like, I said, no, for real, play part 2. So we're like watching his episodes. But yeah, it was good. I like it.
Another question just at the front here.
This is more of a question as well as something to say mainly for Jason. It's of the fact that remember in Dino Thunder is that you had that whole like battling against all the three previous Rangers. Like, what do you think of that? And also another side message is that you kind of are the reason why I got into Power Rangers and more or less fighting games and whatnot. So it's like, thank you.
Thank you, thank you. I appreciate it. Fighting Spirit was a good episode. And I had to leave. Doug Sloan and Ann Knapp, who we work with, were producing it, and I had to get back to my karate school because they shot in New Zealand, which never showed Power Rangers, so we walk everywhere. No one even knew what the show was. And then I had to go back, and they're like, well, what are we gonna do? I'm like, I don't know, make me invisible. So that's why I was invisible in Dino Thunder. You see, like literally, I was invisible because I had to go back to California. My school could have run, but I went back and agreed to a certain amount of episodes, so they made me invisible. See? Always thinking.
If it wasn't you, they would have been like, recast.
Okay, next question here.
Hello guys. Hi. I'm your biggest fan from Latvia. I'm very glad to see you finally. My heroes from the childhood. Well, I have an interesting question. If I won't upset you. You've been chosen for the show because you're acrobats.
I wasn't chosen for my acrobats because I didn't have to. Mine was really based upon my acting because I was given a script and they knew I had a dance background, so I could pick up choreography, fight training. I know some of the other actors because I know that JDF did karate, and I know that Adam. Adam Rocky and Aisha.
He did text you.
He's on that.
Johnny Bosch.
Karen, Steven, and Johnny. I know that they had to do like a fight routine. So mine was just based on the audition, and then they asked me my background. So mine wasn't based on fighting. But I did have to learn fight techniques, stunt fighting for the movie, for the Turbo movie.
Just through the first season, I mean, Dave was a gymnast, and so yeah, we had to. I have ADD. I want to see that movie. I really do. Yeah.
She's adorable.
So yeah, I just knew martial. At that time, they did it. It was like a martial arts type of thing, gymnastics. But these guys did great, man. I mean, like I said, we had the best stuntmen in the world, like the putties, and so they're training and they're learning on set. And even before and even after, we would all share. They actually came to my karate school, like, so it was a good time. So we always had people teaching. Ian and me and Johnny would run out and do stuff, and we would share things. So, but it was good. It was a good thing that we had. Kept us mentally strong for a very long time every day and training.
Sounds like a putties.
Yeah, whoever came up with that and said, let's do, and then, you ever thought about SpongeBob? Who would actually pitch that movie and be like, all right, so we got a sponge, he lives under the sea,